none of it worked. So Siddhartha ended up leaving his family, leaving all of his riches and possessions behind, and even his wife and their newborn child, to try to find the answers to the questions in his mind. He wandered the land far and wide, finding all the great masters and teachers that he could, learning their meditation ways, anything that he could to try to find the answers to his questions. But nothing quite did the trick. He even tried living a lifestyle in which, oh my gosh, what is this? This is not good at all. Okay, one more time, let's go. Okay, beautiful. Now then. But he even tried to live a lifestyle where he started eating less and less, trying to clear his mind. At one point, he was even down to eating 1 grain of rice a day. At one point, while he was living this way, he was sitting there meditating, and a young girl who was on her way back from the grocer with her mother saw him and thought he needed help. So she fed him some rice milk. Now, this instantly made him regret his lifestyle of not eating anything and led him to discover that a healthy body equals a healthy mind. And without eating properly, there's no way you can possibly feel happy. Soon after this, his great experience happened when he was sitting meditating under a fig tree. And he discovered that life is suffering, and there's no way to avoid it, but there is a way through it. He also realized, as he looked up at the leaves of the tree, that we are all interconnected. Much like a series of roots in a tree, we are all woven together in harmony. We are all one people. And this was when he had truly reached his enlightenment. Now, I keep talking about enlightenment, so I should probably give you a description of what that is. To me, enlightenment means a state in which you feel completely at peace, all of your emotions are working together in harmony, and you feel, in a word, happy and at one with the world. Now, how did I go about seeing if I could accomplish this? Well, it all starts with the 5 precepts of Buddhism, which you already saw, but I'm going to do them slower this time. Rule number 1, do not take the life of another. Now, this one is pretty straightforward, but the way I interpreted it in my study, since I don't usually go around killing people, is I decided to live as a vegetarian, which was a very eye-opening experience for me and really helped me out in terms of living a different lifestyle and trying to get results. Because I'd always thought about being a vegetarian, and I always said, I wouldn't be that hard. Like, I know people who are vegetarians, and I don't think it would be too hard. But easier said than done, I must say, and it was definitely a change in my life. 2, do not take that which is not given. Again, I don't usually go around stealing anything, but we've all had that moment where you open the fridge and you see a piece of cake, and you don't know whose piece of cake it is, but it looks really good. So there's always that temptation somewhere in your life. Rule number 3, refrain from sexual misconduct. Now, I interpreted this one more broadly, and I increased it to being removing sexual content from my life in music, TV shows, movies, trying to avoid all things of that nature. 4, refrain from wrong speech. I'm going to be honest with you. This one was probably the most active change I had to make in my life. Because, I will be honest, a lot of my humor is deprecating, so it was very interesting for me to have to think about what I was saying more and say, whoa, wait a minute. That's not so good. You can't do that. Be more positive. And I think overall it was probably good for me. Finally, number 5, do not take intoxicants leading to heedlessness. Now, of course, I am under the legal drinking age, so I interpreted this one as removing excess from my life. You know, like not gorging myself in meals, trying to not oversleep too much, trying to be more reserved in my composure. Now, there are additional precepts that some people use when following a Buddhist lifestyle, but I thought that some of them are a little bit too extreme and would affect my day-to-day lifestyle more than the original 5, because honestly, I feel like if I was only eating between sunrise and noon while sleeping on a mat on the floor every night, I don't think I would be able to get any chartable increases in happiness. Okay, so some other things I did for my study. I instituted upon myself a mandatory bedtime of 11 p.m., which was very different for me because I was used to going to bed at 2, 3 in the morning, of course. But I also started keeping a journal of my activities every day, cataloging how much I slept each night, meditating daily, and finally, most importantly, I started recording every night in something called the BMIS, which is a brief mood introspection scale, and you should all probably have one of these, hopefully. Those are the papers that were handed out. That's what those look like. But those are very cool because you just circle if somewhere between definitely do not feel and definitely feel for each emotion that you were feeling throughout the day, and then by a series in which you take the scores of each, whereas for the positive emotions, 1 to 4, 4 being definitely do feel, and for the negative emotions, 4 to 1, definitely do not feel, being 4. Now this scale ranges from 16 points to 64 points. All right. Now, one of the most important things, meditation was one of my favorite parts about this study because it really helped me realize that I lead a very busy and confusing life, and a lot of times I need to just take a step back, take a moment for myself, breathe nice and deeply, and just think about everything that's happening. And some techniques that I used were I controlled my breathing, I tried to clear my mind, and I realized that during my day-to-day life, there are a lot of times that I can sneak in meditation. I live very far away from OC, so I spend a lot of time in the car, and it's nice when I can just put on my headphones, play some very soothing music, and just take a minute to relax and meditate. Also, one of my favorite places to meditate, in the shower. Whew! Oh man, that's so nice. You come out of there feeling relaxed. It's incredible. So, the results of my study. So, as you can see, I have here listed my average BMIS scores for before, during, and after the study. So as you can see, there is an increase while I was living as a Buddhist. Now, I am a little bit skeptical about these results because of my sample size, which is much smaller than I would have hoped it to be. My study was only for 3 weeks, and I really wish I could have had more time, but there are some chartable increases and decreases after the study. I don't know what's up with that. I was having some bad days. But this is the amount of sleep I got on average before, during, and after my study. So I would say maybe partially attribute the happiness increase to the fact that I was just getting more sleep on average, and that could have something to do with it. But also, I don't want to undermine how much living as a Buddhist affected me in that time. answer to my thesis question of, is it possible for me to achieve enlightenment if I spent more time living as a Buddhist? I don't know if it's truly possible to say one way or the other if I could achieve enlightenment, but if you extrapolate this data, I mean, it looks pretty clear that I would be more happy. So, really, if I had more time to commit to being a Buddhist, I do believe that I could have a positive increase in my mood, possibly leading to enlightenment even. But as it stands, I don't think I have enough data to conclusively say one way or the other. Thank you. Can I just say, does anyone else think it's a little bit dark in here? I think we might need an enlightenment.
Tim came with his own temper.
Oh, wait. Yeah, we're missing something. Hold on a second.